Hey guys, this is Rahul Rai and you are watching GetWise. In this video, we will be discussing about shoulder joint, and in the shoulder joint, we have to discuss a term called shoulder joint complex. The shoulder joint complex, it will include several joints. So let's have a look at. In the given image, this is a acromion process of scapula, and this is clavicle bone. The joint between them, it is called acromioclavicular joint. It is called acromioclavicular joint. Okay. Likewise here, this is clavicle and this is sternum. So this joint is called sternoclavicular joint. It is called sternoclavicular joint. After this, we have one more joint. It's between the scapula and the thoracic wall. You cannot see this in the image, but we have a joint here. It's called scapulothoracic joint. It's called scapulothoracic joint. And the last and the main joint, this is glenoid cavity and this is the head of humerus. So this joint is called glenohumeral joint. It is called glenohumeral joint. It is also known as shoulder joint proper. It's also known as shoulder joint proper. So let's talk about the shoulder joint in detail. The glenohumeral joint or the shoulder joint, it is a type of ball and socket joint. It's a type of ball and socket joint. In the ball and socket joint, we have one articular surface like ball and the other articular surface, it's like a socket for that ball. So it's called ball and socket joint. The advantage of ball and socket joint is it has great degree of freedom. It has great degree of freedom for the motion. So you can see that various degree of motion is possible in the ball and socket joint. Okay, got it? Now the blue colored area in the picture, these are the articular surfaces. These are the articular surfaces, and the articular surfaces, these are covered with hyaline cartilage. These are covered with hyaline cartilage. For those who do not know much about the cartilages, there are three types of cartilage. First is elastic. The elastic cartilage, it is mainly present where we need stretchability or flexibility, like our ear pinna. We have elastic cartilage. Okay. The fibrous cartilage, it's present in the joints, because fibrous cartilage, the main function for fibrous cartilage, it is to provide strength to the joints or strength to the structures. And the hyaline cartilage, it's almost present where on the synovial membranes, the articular membranes that cover the joint surfaces. Now actually in the shoulder joint, apart from head of humerus and the glenoid cavity, we have 3-4 more layers of structures around it. So first understand the layers, then we will discuss each layer in detail. For example, this is our glenoid cavity. After glenoid cavity, we have ligaments, the layer of ligament and the fibrous capsule of shoulder joint, and after that we have muscular layer that is called rotator cuff. We have 4 muscles in it: supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor and subscapularis. So these muscles are present in this layer. Okay, so now we will look at first layer or the joint capsule. So in the first layer we will have, this is this structure I am highlighting in black. It covers the shoulder joint all around, but we can see here only it's a synovial membrane. Above that, we have a ligament called glenohumeral ligament. It is called glenohumeral ligament because it attaches on one side medially on the glenoid, on the rim of glenoid cavity, and on the other side it is present on the anatomical neck of humerus. It is attached on the anatomical neck of humerus, so it is called glenohumeral ligament. It has three parts: superior, middle and inferior. Okay, it is three parts: superior, middle and inferior. And the inferior one, it will extend below the shoulder joint as well. It will extend below the shoulder joint as well. You like this, it will extend below the shoulder joint. Okay, now our head of humerus, it is very large with respect to the glenoid cavity. So we have one more structure around the glenoid fossa or cavity. It's called glenoid labrum. It is called glenoid labrum. The green color highlighted structure, it is called glenoid labrum. And this glenoid labrum, it will deepen the glenoid fossa or the glenoid cavity. It will deepen the glenoid fossa, so head of humerus can accommodate more inside the glenoid fossa. So head of the humerus can accommodate more inside the glenoid fossa. Okay, so and this glenoid labrum, if we take a cross section here, then it will look like this. It is triangular in shape. It is triangular in shape. Got it? After this, we have two more ligaments. So the green color highlighted ligament, it is present between acromion process and coracoid process. So it is called coracoacromion ligament. It is called coracoacromion ligament. And one more ligament I am highlighting by blue. This ligament is present between grooves near to the coracoid process and on the head of humerus. So it is called coracohumeral ligament. It is called coracohumeral ligament. It is called coracohumeral ligament. And you can see that these all images are from anterior view. These are all images from anterior view. Now there is one more structure. This tiny structure. These are called bursa. These are like, in the fibrous capsule we have a hole. Inside, and from these hole the synovial membrane, it will outpouch like this. Let's draw the, if this is the fibrous capsule and this is the outpouching, so this will be called bursa. Got it? So it is a outpouching from the fibrous capsule. This structure I am highlighting in yellow. It is the fibrous capsule. It's the fibrous capsule of shoulder joint. Actually this fibrous capsule, it will cover the shoulder joint all around, but we cannot see all of the joint capsule from anterior side only. It will present on the posterior side also. It will present on the superior and inferior side also, but we can see here only the anterior one. This is the fibrous joint capsule. So we have discussed the synovial layer and the ligaments in the fibrous capsule. Now in the next layer we have muscles, and these muscles will provide strength to the shoulder joint because fibrous capsule of the joint is laxed. Fibrous capsule is loose, that will provide the greater movement, the mobility, but do not provide any strength. So we have muscles. These muscles are togetherly called rotator cuff muscles. These muscles are called rotator cuff muscles. So there are four muscles we will identify in these images. So this image of posterior view, this is lateral one and this is anterior one. So on the anterior side we have one muscle, it is called subscapularis. Subscapularis. Okay. On the posterior side we can see three muscles. This small and the inferior one is called teres minor. It is called teres minor. In the middle muscle it is called infraspinatus. And the superior most muscle, it is called supraspinatus. Now we will identify these muscles in the lateral view also. So this is subscapularis. This muscle is teres minor, and this muscle is infraspinatus, and the superior most, it is supraspinatus. So now we can identify four muscles in the rotator cuff: subscapularis, supraspinatus, infraspinatus, and teres minor. Actually we have one mnemonic also, that is SITS, SITS: supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, and subscapularis. If we can name these muscles anti-clockwise, we will find this sequence like this. Okay, so supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, and subscapularis. Got it? These four muscles, they will provide the stability to the joint, they will provide strength to the joint. And as you can see that we do not have any muscle on the inferior region or anterior inferior region. In the anterior inferior region we do not have any muscles, so shoulder joint dislocation is most common in the anterior inferior region because we do not have any support. So that's all about the shoulder joint and how it is. But you have to draw a diagram in the exam, and this diagram cannot be drawn in the exam in the stipulated time. So we have a neat and clean diagram that you can draw in the exam and you will get the maximum marks. So that is the diagram. Now you can draw like this. We will draw it again. So this is our head of humerus, and this is glenoid cavity, and this is section of glenoid labrum. This is acromion process, and this is coracoid process. This is scapula. In the head of humerus, this is anatomical neck of humerus, and this is surgical neck. Okay. This is articular surface for head of humerus, and this is articular surface from glenoid cavity. We will name it. So these are articular surface. This is acromion process. This is coracoid process. The bone is scapula. This bone is humerus. You will write these names in detail. I am writing in short form so that the diagram will remain clean. And this is glenoid labrum, and we can draw one more thing. This is our joint capsule, capsular ligament or joint capsule. Actually our shoulder joint is entirely covered by deltoid muscle from outside, so you can draw deltoid muscle also like that. This is a AP view. This is a AP view. So deltoid muscle will look like this and this. So this is deltoid muscle. And in the coracoid process and acromion process, between them we have a ligament. We have discussed it. It is called coracoacromion ligament. It is called coracoacromion ligament. So this is the diagram you will draw in the exam when you asked to draw a shoulder joint diagram. Got it?